week, left the game with what we now is known to be a grade 1 oblique strain. Dave Roberts not mentioning a timetable as to when he would return from this strain, but did say that it's going to be at least a few weeks. The corresponding move, Andrew Toles, is starting in center field tonight. It's the first time Andrew Toles has been at the big league level in 2018 after dealing with hamstring and other issues in AAA. In 34 games, a .326 average, guys.
All right, Alana, great to have Toles back in the fold, and he's part of this lineup for the Dodgers here in Game 1 with Jock Peterson to lead it off, and then Max Muncy, candidate for the National League final vote, starting in second, hitting second. Turner's the third baseman, hitting third. In the middle, Bellinger, Kemp, and Grandal. At short, Chris Taylor. Toles bats eighth and starts in center, and Clayton Kershaw rounds out Dave Roberts' order. Well, the last time they saw Luis Perdomo, they sent him to the minors by scoring 9 runs in 3 innings. He spent 2.5 months there. Came back up last week, and this is his second start since.
July 4th was his homecoming back here to the big leagues. The 25-year-old is looking to stay aggressive. They sent him down to the minor leagues because this is a guy who gets a lot of ground balls. Last year led the National League in ground ball percentage, but the sinker was really just kind of tailing. There was no aggressiveness in the strike zone with the breaking ball. They want him to throw a lot of strikes and get good extension to have the pitches be sharper. The sinker going down more and the slider going down more, but throw strikes.
He's got really live stuff, so they just want him to pitch with more conviction and let that stuff do its thing. And the Dodgers 5-2 in July, and a National League best 32-15 since mid-May. The Padres come in 5-15 in their last 20. Off we go with a strike to Jock Peterson. And the Dodger offense trying to get it going again. Just 8 runs in 3 games against the Angels, where strikeouts were a big issue. 37 strikeouts in those 3 games.
A lot of hitters saying it was really hard to see the ball, but both teams had to play on the same field.
0-2 and a ground ball foul.
Angels figured out how to squeak out some wins. Very easily could have been a sweep for the Dodgers.
Jock Peterson starting the night for the Dodgers and shooting a ground ball to the shortstop Freddie Galvis for the first out of the night. It's the 10th time these teams have met up this season. The Dodgers have won 6 of the first 9. This is one of just 2 series they'll play in this ballpark this year, because one of the Padres series where they're supposed to host the Dodgers came in Monterey. Here's Max Muncy, and his campaign for the final vote off to a good start. See a lot of movement on social media, and Dodger fans backing him, trying to do a similar thing to what they did for Justin Turner last year when they had 21 million votes to set a record. Ball 1. For Muncy, a return to the ballpark where he made his Dodger debut April 17th. 1 day later, hit his first home run as a Dodger against this guy, Perdomo. On a 1-1. Muncy watches a change drift away, and he's ahead 2 balls and a strike.
Max is going to earn and has earned every vote that he's going to get, and I hope he gets on the All-Star team. I think he is the deserving candidate.
Gets under this one, and in left field it's Will Myers. For Perdomo, 2 up and 2 down. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. When you're at least looking at stats, probably going to come down to Max Muncy or Jesus Aguilar in Milwaukee, who's had a similar surprise season, breakout season. 2 out for Justin Turner. 1 ball, no strikes. Shoots one down the right field line. Renfroe with a long way to go. Won't get there. Picks it off a bounce with a bare hand. Twirls and throws to second to get him. What a play by Hunter Renfroe to take extra bases away from Justin Turner.
The risk was the correct one by Justin Turner with 2 outs. Try to get into scoring position. But boy, what a play with the bare hand spin. Reminds you a little bit of Yasiel Puig.
Face the Padres. The Dodgers have won. That goes back to June of 2013. Overall against San Diego in his career, Oral 17-6 with a 1.94.
He's looking forward to tonight. 74 pitches in his last outing. Went 6. Gave up a couple of runs. But you know what? I think he's finally reaching a point now where he's starting to feel like completely back to being Clayton Kershaw. And I think if he is, we'll see the strikeout total really go up here against a young, free-swinging team, and him throwing his breaking balls the way he knows how.
Yeah, so he got his first win since April his last time, but only 2 strikeouts as Manuel Margot climbs in to lead it off and takes strike 1. Those are the fewest strikeouts that Kershaw's had in a start of at least 5 innings in his entire career. Both those Ks came against Ivan Nova, the Pirates pitcher. That's inside, and it's 1-1.
It's not alarming, but it's enlightening to know that about his strikeouts. Pittsburgh, a very good contact team, 2-strike team. And because of that, they probably put the ball in play a little bit more, even early in the count. And the strategy against Clayton Kershaw is to get him early in the count. One of the first 2 pitches, because if he can get to his curveball and slider, you're really in trouble.
Buries one here, 2-2.
And they know with him, the league knows, he's been around long enough and he's come off the DL enough now that he's on a shorter leash. This guy wants to go deep, so he's going to throw a lot of strikes. And so we're going to get things to hit and get something to hit early, so fewer strikeouts.
On a 2-2 to Margot. It's fouled back, and we'll do it again. Mention a little bit about this Padres offense that he's facing for the second year in a row. Dead last in the National League, 3.7 runs per game. And the biggest issue has been strikeouts. 23-year-old Manny Margot on 2-2. Gets his hands in and stays alive.
You know, usually the reward with a high strikeout team is power because they take big swings and they hit home runs. But San Diego doesn't even get the reward. They don't get the slug with the strikeout. They don't get the home run with the strikeout. And so that's a tough equation as far as scoring runs.
Curveball was sharp there to get Margot swinging, and Kershaw, who didn't have a K against a position player his last time out, gets the leadoff man in this one.
The stats say that 73% of the time against Clayton Kershaw, you get the 2 strikes, you're going to have to hit his curveball or his slider. You didn't hit that one.
One of the long bright spots recently has been Will Myers. On Saturday night, he hit 3 home runs. And then in last night's game, they played 16 innings, and Will Myers ended it with a home run. That's some getaway day, huh?
What a brutal road trip they have been on. A short homestand to kind of break it up a little bit, but yeah. Long road trip, 16 innings, and you needed that burst of energy if you were the Padres with the way they have struggled and then going through a tough span over the last month or so.
This is the second longest game of the year in baseball. On a 1-1 pitch, Myers hits a fly ball to right center field. Tolles and Kemp coming together, and it's Tolles taking charge and making the catch. 2 up and 2 down for Kershaw.
Welcome back, Andrew Tolles.
First game in a Dodger uniform since a bad knee injury last May. Here's Renfroe with 2 out. Taking ball 1. That's a strike, 1-1. Curve misses away, and it's 2-1.
Dodgers come down the freeway and get here to San Diego and get away from some of the oppressive heat. I'm sure Clayton is feeling a lot better here than he would have been in Anaheim or LA. You get the same reaction from him when he pulls a fastball into the ground, no matter what the temperature is. He'll always be hot about that.
No question. Three and 1 on Renfroe. Here comes Kershaw. And this is inside. First base runner of the game for the Padres comes on a Renfroe walk. Well, part of the reason for the recent struggles for these Padres, 5-15 in their last 20 games, is that their big acquisition, Eric Hosmer, is going through one of the roughest stretches of his career. He's 2 for his last 33, and it goes beyond that. Not only is it a bad slump for him, he's been the worst hitter in the National League during that 5-15 span, and it's not even really close when you're looking at OPS. 381 OPS for Eric Hosmer in his last 20 games. You see the other guys among the worst. The National League average is 734. Almost 400 points below that. On an 0-1, takes it up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hosmer was out early, taking early batting practice. Probably out for about 15-20 minutes on the field. That doesn't mean that's all he worked. I'm sure they worked underneath in the cage with tee work and different things, but players like to see how far the ball's flying, get that final feel if the change is working. One thing to have it feel solid, make good contact in the cage or off the tee. It's another thing to at least see where the flight of the ball goes. His power's down, the ground balls are up, and so even build some positives in early batting practice as you work on your mechanics.
Kershaw looking to pitch around the 2-out walk. said that Hosmer is always working, whether that's watching video of his swing, watching video of the opposing pitcher, or that early work you're talking about. And Andy Green, his manager, says yes, that's good and it sets a good example, but in situations like this it tends to manifest in games as over aggression, trying a little bit too hard.
The work he was doing in early BP, and when we see him even take that practice swing there, he's trying to get the hands to have a clear path to get the bat on plane as soon as possible. And so trying to keep that front shoulder in, get the hands moving first, so that when he does go to add the power, the bat's moving in the right direction.
20th pitch of the inning for Kershaw, and he barely gets a piece. We'll do it again.
A few of these foul balls and the walk have really built the pitch count here in the first inning. I mentioned 74 in his last start. I'm sure they'll let him go a little bit past 90, but I'm not sure they'll let him get to 100.
Another 1-2. Renfroe runs and Hosmer fouls off a curve.
Two out, two strike against a dominant pitcher and a dominant team that has handled you for a long time. Padres don't mind putting a runner in motion for a slumping hitter, maybe create a hole for him.
So to the 7th pitch, Kershaw's had to throw to Hosmer. Another 1-2. Ground ball to short. Chris Taylor's there. And that's that in the first inning. Off to the second we go. Game 1 of this 4-game series. No score. Game goes to the second, and the middle third of the Dodgers order coming up against Luis Perdomo. Cody Bellinger to lead it off. Well, one of the big plays in last night's game was his swinging bunt with the bases loaded, where it went to review. He was called out on the play. Review looked bang bang, but I'm sure you saw the picture going around social media afterwards. They had it frozen with his foot on the bag and the ball not yet in the glove. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. And in a one-run game, that loomed large.
All those coin flip calls come down to what was the call on the field usually.
Yeah. 2-1.
And I know when you see the pitcher on social media, you go, okay, but it wasn't a coin flip. He was safe. So that's hard, but I don't know if you could do that in 2 minutes. You'd be delaying the game at such a length that it would be not entertaining.
And a good count here. And lifts one off the end of the bat foul. It goes full. It was a tough weekend for Bellinger. He's 2 for his last 17. But in a ballpark where he's always swung it well. On a payoff pitch. It's a ground ball off of the glove of Perdomo. Slows it down enough for Bellinger to reach. Infield single for Cody Bellinger to open the second. Up comes Matt Kemp facing his former team, and boy has he been good against the Padres this year as you take a look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight.
So many players, when they come back to a ball club they played for, there's comfort, there's adrenaline and aggression because you are upset maybe that they let you go. I'll tell you what, with Matt Kemp, I think he would hit in any ballpark with the swing he's got going right now, and they better watch out on the first pitch. Perdomo's thrown all first pitch fastballs. Guy at the plate right now in the batter's box is one of the best fastball hitters in the big leagues.
It's surprising that he still sees as many fastballs as it seems he does. Setting the target low and away, and they give him a breaking ball, strike one. If there's anybody to flip the scouting report on, he'd be the guy. Top 5 in the league, hitting .319. He's at .500 so far in July. On this 0-1, takes a fastball low.
Congratulations to the All-Star again, Matt Kemp. His 3rd trip to the All-Star game. His first was in 2011, where he also was a starter. 2012 was on the team but did not play. Where will Dave Roberts start him in this year's outfield?
With Markakis and Harper. Seems like Harper's the most logical center fielder in that group. They're all corner outfielders. On a 1-1 pitch. That's grounded past the mound to short. Galvis feeds Pirello. Whips it to first, a double play. And so far, Perdomo looking more like last year's version, inducing a bunch of grounders.
62% ground balls last year. That had really fallen into the 40s this year. Ball's not sinking, ball just tailing. Fastball getting hit for a severely high average, and he had to go spend about 2.5 months in the minor leagues to get back to where they wanted him.
Grandal comes up with 2 out. Perdomo says that he didn't get mad about getting sent down. I mean, he saw the writing on the wall. He saw the poor numbers. As Grandal steps out and takes a strike. Looked at it as a chance to work and get better and address some specific things away from the pressure of the big leagues. Tails it in there, and it's 0-2. Grandal with a bullet base hit into center. And improves on an on-base percentage that in a small sample size, but in July leads all of baseball. He's reaching more than 60% of the time.
Yasmani's another one who has come home that used to be in a Padre uniform and absolutely loves hitting here.
While Grandal has continued to reach following the hot Pittsburgh series, it has been night and day for Chris Taylor. From that huge series against the Pirates to what he dealt with over the weekend. 1 for 12 with 9 Ks.
You know, the strikeouts are what would bother you if you're just hitting atom balls or squaring up 50% of the balls and getting the good exit velocity, but nothing's falling in. But 9 strikeouts means there was something going on, and it might have been just the vision.
That one's hit well over the glove of Villanueva. It scoots by Myers to the wall. Grandal stopped at third on a ringing double from Chris Taylor.
Well, the light here tonight is perfect. The skies are darkening. The lights are on. There's no shadows that the ball is coming out of. No sunshine that the pitcher is coming from. And Chris Taylor picks this ball up perfectly and drives it the way he did against Pittsburgh.
And Andrew Toll's first plate appearance in the majors this year is an intentional walk. With the pitcher on deck, it loads him up for Clayton Kershaw. How big does that double play ball look at this point? Inducing Kemp into the 6-4-3 for the 2 outs of the inning. Otherwise, single, double against Perdomo. And now Kershaw taking ball 1.
Dodgers get an opportunity to score here with Clayton up there. They also get to turn the lineup over, so the double play hurt, but Chris Taylor's double really helps the offense and the alignment.
Kershaw without an RBI this year so far. He's got Grandal at third, Taylor at second, Tolles at first. It's a ground ball to Pirela at second. And the Dodgers leave them loaded against Perdomo here in the second. No score to the bottom half.
Hurry in today for the BMW Summer On Sales event for exceptional offers. Details at SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack's Spicy Chicken Club Combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box.
Oh, what a beautiful night in San Diego. Game 1 of 4 between these teams. Joe Davis, Orel Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and Clayton Kershaw back out there for his second inning.
Pitch count up a little bit there in the first inning. He's the last guy on the field because of that ground out. So out there catching his breath a little bit and finishing up his warm-up pitches and locking in. And you have an inning like that, you know, with Clayton Kershaw, he's thinking about trying to have a 6 or 7 pitch inning to follow up that long one.
Boy, how often do we see him do that, where he does have that rare high pitch count inning, but be very efficient right after?
See it an awful lot. I don't know if it's he throws a few more breaking balls earlier in the count, get the ball put in play, put guys away, but there were a lot of foul balls in that first inning that he wishes they would have either put in play or he had to miss it.
Christian Villanueva starts the Padres half of the second, takes ball 1. The National League Rookie of the Month in April. Continued it with a hot May, but the league seemingly has figured him out since. That's foul, and it's 1-1. He's got 17 home runs, but 15 came over the first 2+ months.
Well, he's a microcosm of the problem with the Padres and their offense. You know, a lot of strikeouts and not any power. And he is a free swinger, and it is a big swing no matter what the count.
On a 1-1 pitch. That cuts inside, and it's 2-1. You've got, of course, one of the game's great curveballs from Clayton Kershaw against a guy that is the second worst curveball hitter in the National League in Villanueva. Here it's a slider that evens it up 2-2. Out of Mexico. It was fun to watch the reception he got when these teams met up in Monterrey. It's from about 500 miles from there in Jalisco. There is the curve, and it's grounded foul.
Dodgers pitched him very well in Mexico, but he was also really pumped up there. Can you imagine taking a free swinger, going back to his homeland, put him in that situation where he's doing all the interviews and excited to be there and produce? Sometimes you got to let the game come to you, not you go to the game, and especially as a hitter.
Kershaw gets him, burying that slider for his second K.
Only 2 strikeouts in his last outing, but Clayton Kershaw's got the strikeout pitch working so far. 1 an inning, and we're only 1 out into the second. That slider has that late bite. He's going to get a few more tonight.
And you go from the second worst curveball hitter in the National League to the second worst fastball hitter in the National League, and Jose Perella. And it is a fastball, but it misses 1-0. Perella, 28 years old. It's his 5th year with Major League time, but made his first opening day roster this year. Strike 1. It's a breakout season for him last year. Got an opportunity because of injury. Came up in early June and led the Padres in just about every category from that point on. One and two.
It's very surprising to look at this Padre lineup and see all the actual power that each individual hitter has, but to see their home run totals be so low.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some exciting electric bodies on this team that great bat speed, great strength.
Back-to-back Ks to open the second.
There's got to be an issue with their approach or what they're thinking in the batter's box. And I'm not even considering the whole launch angle theory and the theory of offense now as much as I'm considering what has their studies been on the opposing pitcher. What is their approach to this guy, and are they doing it as a lineup and as an individual? Because as far as talent, there's a lot of talent that gets into the batter's box that's wearing a Padres uniform.
With 2 out, it's Freddie Galvis. Yeah, so they have several guys who you look at and say, yeah, they should have home run power and have shown it in their career. But to your question, what is the overall focus? It's been all about on base percentage. Galvis chops one by third and foul. The whole theme around here is stubborn at bats, not chasing as much. In the minors, they have rankings of the players by on base percentage and rankings of the players by chase rate posted on the bulletin boards in the clubhouses. On this 1-1 pitch, Galvis swings, pulls it to third. Turner's there. Kershaw with a 1-2-3 inning. They're even giving away a nice pair of Oakleys to the guy that each month finishes with the lowest chase rate on the team.
That guy wouldn't need glasses.
Good point. from Pantone 294. As this game goes to the third, no score. Second time through the order against Luis Perdomo. It's Jock Peterson who started the game by grounding out to short. For Perdomo, a whole lot different than the last time he saw the Dodgers. Peterson hits one in the air down the left field line. Myers over, out of room. Perdomo against the Dodgers in late April gave up 9 runs in 3 innings. And in his career against LA has given up 39 in 33 innings. But so far tonight, 2 zeros. And includes his major league debut. Game against the Dodgers opening day a few years back. Gave up 6 runs in 1 inning. So after 1 game in the major leagues, Perdomo sported an ERA of 54.
That's not a lot of fun, and I'm sure that he really wants to have a good outing. Not only he's back in the big leagues, but against the Dodgers. Kind of a little redemption that you guys are the ones that really put the icing on the cake. Me having to go to the minors down to El Paso to AA to start rebuilding and refining his delivery.
Peterson taps it gently on the right side. Villanueva, 1 out. And a scoreless third inning. Up comes Max Muncy, and we go down to Alana.
Well, Joe, the Dodger infielder slash outfielder was selected as a final vote candidate. He has the opportunity to join Jansen and Kemp for the NL All-Star team, but you can only do it via the fan vote. You must go to Dodgers.com/vote or MLB.com/vote. You have up until Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time to vote for Max Muncy to the All-Star game. Now, hashtag vote Muncy does not work. Last year, in the final 12 hours leading up to the final time, hashtags would work. This year, hashtag, you can't do it. So vote for Max Muncy, Dodgers.com/vote. Certainly deserving of this honor, guys.
All right, so the hashtag is just to spread the word. You actually got to go to the link to make that happen. On a 1-1 pitch from Perdomo, he gets his hands in and flexes a little flare on the left side that Galvis runs down, 2 out. No score in the third. Here's Justin Turner. Plumbed a base hit to right his first time up. Was thrown out trying to turn that into a double on a fantastic play by Hunter Renfroe. Turner quietly now, Oral, has reached in 14 of his last 15 games.
And it's a full array of hits. The power has started to come back. The gappers hitting in the clutch. So when you start to see that consistency, that tells me there's consistent health. There's consistent work that's going on, that the health is allowing him to do that. And he always looks really comfortable in the box, but it looks even more comfortable when you're barreling it up and getting hits.
I think everybody's looked more comfortable in the box since he's come back. Corresponds almost exactly with the team's turnaround. In fact, 2 days before this 32-15 run began. Even though he's not completely been himself the entire time, just the mere presence of him in the order. Quality at bats each time he's up there that you can count on. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Perdomo back home, and Turner swings. It's a high fly ball to center, but it's playable for Margot. And the top of the order down in order in the third. innings milestone. And how about his ranks among pitchers that have reached 2,000 innings since 1920? He's #1 in ERA. He's #1 in walks and hits per innings pitched. He's in the top 5 in several other categories as well. And he'll face his old buddy A.J. Ellis to open this third. Misses high with the first one, 1-0.
That is quite a hurdle to jump over. 2,000 innings. 146 wins, only 68 losses. What he has done in a Dodger uniform, you could, if you put the word Dodger up in the dictionary, you could put a picture of him. He's the perfect Dodger. What he does off the field, what he does on the field, what he does for his teammates, what he has done for the city.
What he's done all over the world. His wife Ellen do Kershaw's Challenge, their charity. He's home with a 1-2. Tried to backdoor Ellis, but just misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The guy that's caught almost half of those 2,000 innings at the plate here, facing Kershaw for the first time. Grounds one off of the hands to Turner. One away in the third. What a weird sensation that had to be for A.J. Ellis to go up there with a bat against Kershaw.
And that bat will be remembered and talked about for the rest of their life. Holidays, get-togethers, texts, emails.
There's Perdomo. Yes, 4 triples in Luis Perdomo's career. They all came last year. That was more triples than every other pitcher in baseball combined. Shot to right. Muncy won't get there. The first base hit of the game for the Padres comes from the pitcher Perdomo.
Well, to hit triples, you got to hit the ball hard. This one not hit super hard, but it is high enough. Pretty good bat speed and pretty good approach for a pitcher at the plate.
You got to hit it hard, or you got to be a burner like Rich Hill.
Does Rich Hill have a triple?
No.
Oh,
but he's got a bunt single.
That's true. He's a burner.
1 on, 1 out. Here's Manuel Margot. Fouling it off. Strike 1. Rich Hill scheduled to go tomorrow for the Dodgers. That adventure, that wild race around the bases in his last start, which ended with him crashing into home and tweaking that neck. Thankfully not going to cause him to miss a start. Oh, 0-2. I think one of the fascinating things this season for the Dodgers that's happened a little bit under the radar, you know, the starting staff, with all the injuries they've gone through, with some of the poor performances early, the starting staff is #1 in the National League this year.
And that is really special for what they've had to do, all the different personnel. It is a tip of the hat to Rick Honeycutt. When you think about the saviors of the rotation, Ryu early on was really good, was actually performing like the ace of the staff. He goes down. Clayton had his issues, and Buehler and Stripling have really rescued the rotation as far as their performances.
Curve is lifted in the air to left. That sends Peterson back, tiptoeing to the warning track with room. 2 out.
It'd be nice to get Walker Buehler back this weekend before the All-Star break.
One of those 3 games against the Angels. Not announced yet which one. Kershaw will get one of those as well. And Dodgers Angels will try to return the favor in the Freeway Series after the Angels took 2 of 3 this weekend.
The All-Star break is a respite for a pitching staff where you can kind of juggle it. You can rest who you want to rest. You can take full inventory of everybody's body and how they're feeling and get almost the right workload for them going into the All-Star break or avoid them. Almost like coming out of spring training. Or are you just going to time it up with off days instead of work?
Will Myers with 2 out. Takes ball 1.
I hope Ross Stripling's usage is in a rhythm that would make him a high candidate for Washington in the All-Star game. In case they remove a pitcher or 2 because of pitching on Sunday and won't be eligible to pitch, they will add a replacement. I think Ross has got to be at the top of that list.
Stripling for a moment after his last start was qualified. Put him second in the National League in ERA. Myers cuts and misses 2-1. Only Jacob deGrom with a better earned run average in the NL than Ross Stripling.
103 strikeouts and 89 1/3 innings.
Strikeout to walk is just absurd.
Yeah.
It's Kershaw territory. The man on and 2 out, a 2-1, and Myers gets his hands in and belts one to left center. Peterson's there, and the inning is over. Couple of long flyouts, but no damage, and after 3, no score. There, I like you. Top 4, we welcome you inside. Joe Davis and Orr Hershiser. The Dodgers still looking for their first run of the game, and you know, this is 4 or 5 games in a row now. The offense hasn't been clicking. The ebbs and flows of a season, you expect stretches like this, but like you were talking about in the pregame, you just hope that these stretches don't go too long.
Yeah, it's about continuing to execute, and then you get the most out of your execution. I think in the Angels series, the Dodgers would say they did not execute in a lot of places, getting people on base, hitting with runners in scoring position. The bullpen was a little flat at times, and they'll play those tight games. That little miss on execution can hurt. And I didn't expect Kenley Jansen to be perfect the rest of the season. You got to give him a complete mulligan on that. But it was an ugly game where they lost that game too, and the presentation wasn't the best.
Even with dropping 2 of 3 over the weekend, 32-15 since mid-May. That's the best in the National League. For a game out in the division, the Diamondbacks are off tonight, so a chance to get to within a half game of Arizona. Cody Bellinger at an infield single his first time. He opens the 4th against Luis Perdomo by taking a changeup for a strike. And now fastball, and it's 1-1. 2-1. Shot down the left field line. That's a fair ball into the corner. Myers races over there to dig it out, but Bellinger has opened the fourth with a double, and he's 2 for 2 tonight.
I know it's not a home run, but this is one of the prettiest swings that he's made all year. The bat is in the zone for a long, long time. He hits a line drive. He doesn't collapse on his backside. His knees stayed about the same height through the whole swing. Yes, right there at the end when the hips turn, that back knee drops a little bit, but he was right on plane and not collapsing with the big arc there. That was beautiful swing.
And it brings up Matt Kemp, who's been the best in baseball in these situations this year. One ball, no strikes. Year and a half here with the Padres. And a year and a half with Atlanta, and the surprise return to Dodger Blue. Best season since 2011 for him. That one gets by A.J. Ellis. Bellinger's at third with nobody out.
AJ back there guiding the youngster, and looks like they got crossed up just by watching what AJ's glove does. Up, down, through the wickets.
So now a number of ways that Kemp can bring Bellinger in. He's ahead 3-0. Now Kemp coming off a game yesterday where he was 1 for 2, but look a little bit more closely. He had 2 walks for the first time since last July. And here he is sitting on 3-0, taking another walk. Dodgers have them cornered with nobody out.
Those walks that Matt Kemp has been gathering lately, a lot of them in the 3-2 count, where he is really starting to become more disciplined. That's a goal of his and Dave Roberts.
Second free pass issued by Perdomo tonight. And you go from the guy that was traded from the Dodgers to the Padres to the return on that trade, Yasmani Grandal. (2012 through 14 here. All-star in his first year with the Dodgers in 15. And really coming alive lately. Ellis wants the first one from Perdomo inside and gets it there. Grandal takes it, ball 1.
Dodgers trying to put up a crooked number, won't be satisfied with just 1 and getting Bellinger in. No outs. You want to get a 2 or a 3 or a 4 spot.
That's 6 straight balls from Perdomo.
The opposite side of that equation is Perdomo and A.J. Ellis and the Padres want to just limit this to 1 run. A 0 would feel like an unbelievable accomplishment, but just get out of this inning down 1-0 would be a goal.
Strike 1. And the issue when the offense is as bad as the Padres offense is, you give up 1 crooked number, that might be it.
Well, if you're going to win the game, you're probably only going to win it by 1. Other than that, you're losing.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
What are they, under 4, right? 3.7 or so runs per game, or even lower than that?
3.7.
Yeah, 3.7. So wow. Yeah, you give up a 2 or a 3 spot. That is a hill to climb.
And that is a tough thing to have to burden yourself with as a starting pitcher. On a 2-2, Grandal swings and hits a rocket base hit to right. That thing had a smoke trail on it all the way to the wall. Bellinger scores easily on a double from Grandal, and the Dodgers have the lead in the 4th.
Hit, walk, hit. And this one is a bullet, like you said. Osmani has gotten super hot with squaring up a lot of balls. And now, because of this double, the Dodgers can score 3 in this inning, and all they got to do is record productive outs to get in the next 2.
So Bellinger and Grandal tonight, 4 for 4 combined. Second and third, nobody out, and Chris Taylor coming up. And it sure was good to see Taylor barrel a ball up his first time after the rough weekend in Anaheim. Infield plays halfway. Perdomo delivers. Taylor swings. Strike 1. The man on second, A.J. Ellis, has gone to the secondary set of signs. The 1-1. Taylor bounces one through the right side, base hit. Had to wait to make sure that it got through. Kempson to score. Grandal to third, and it's 2-0.
A nice piece of hitting from Chris Taylor. We'll take a look at it in Carl's cam. Line drive to left first at bat. Now the line drive to right. Squaring it up and timing it up. This outing right now to Perdomo's got to take him back to April 18th when the Dodgers put a 9 spot on him in 3 innings, 7 of them earned. They started out 3-1-5 against him as far as innings and runs. This has got to be a nightmare that he was trying to avoid.
And Toles had to wait a little bit longer than he thought, but he finally gets to stand in there. Runner takes off on the first pitch, and Taylor steals second without a throw. And so there's a chance they're going to do to Toles exactly what they did last time. With first base now open, with nobody out, it looks like they will pitch to him. Driven to left center field. Myers is back. It's over his head and off the wall. Welcome back, Andrew Toles, with a 2-run double. He's the best, isn't he?
Recently in AAA, he has been really hot. And this looks like an at-bat that we saw for a time here in a Dodger uniform. That short, compact swing, never getting too big, staying on top of the ball and driving it. Dodger offense is back.
5 straight have reached to open this inning. And they've got a half of their run production from the entire Anaheim series in this 1 inning alone. Kershaw to bunt. And he pulls it back and slashes it foul. This is skewed because both starts against the Dodgers have come here. More the same against the Dodgers. He's now allowed 43 runs in 36 innings against them. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got to imagine that it becomes mental, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and a lot of the Dodger roster has not changed, so it's the same hitters. It's not just a uniform where you're mental against. It's actually the people that are in the uniform are the same guys who got the hits, so they see you well, they're confident. You haven't figured out how to get them out. You're not confident.
Falls behind 2-1. He's given up more than 3 hits an inning against the Dodgers this year. Kershaw trying to give him an out here. And then he pulls it back and so did the same thing a bunt would have. Productive out for Kershaw. Tolles to third, 1 out.
Normally when you're going to slap the ball and pull the bunt back, you're thinking about opposite field so you don't swing and miss. But right there, Clayton understanding that I'll risk the strikeout to get out in front to make sure I pull the ball and get the runner over. Very well executed.
Jock Peterson is the 7th Dodger to bat in this inning. Goes after the first pitch to Perella, who comes home, and a good slide from Tolles gets him under the tag. Instant energy back from Oklahoma City.
You don't make this with the infield unless you get a good secondary lead. He's walking, he never stops moving, almost like a walking lead when you're stealing a base. And because of that walking lead, and he's moving, and he never, always on the balls of his feet, and breaks as soon as that ball is hit. The high throw helped, but so did all that execution on the base path.
And that buys Jock Peterson an RBI, makes it 5-0, and brings up Muncy. This clubhouse loves having number 60 around. He is one of a kind.
He is described as a beautiful person by Ross Stripling
and Dave Roberts. There's Pantone 294. A lot of them took the train down today. Love the Muncy big heads. Takes a strike. You know, there's obviously plenty of discussion about who's most deserving out of the 5 guys that are final vote candidates. As home plate umpire Greg Gibson's headed over to the first base dugout for something here. Oh my goodness. He's not feeling right. That's first base umpire Vic Carapazza, and if Gibson couldn't continue, Carapazza would go put the equipment on.
Greg Gibson is, I'd guess, a little bit of stomach problems. Talking to AJ. Pretty hot here, but not like it is back in LA and Anaheim when they're playing. He is the crew chief, so I don't know who he would default to say, no, you're out of here. You got to remove himself, but he looks like he wants to continue. He did pound a lot of water while he was in there taking a little break.
Good. Greg's okay. Temperature here in San Diego, low 80s today.
It looked like when he was leaning into AJ earlier, he was kind of like, AJ, I got a little something going on here, and had to take a break.
And AJ Ellis, everybody's friend, so good guy to have back there to help him. Perdomo to Muncy with an 0-1 after a toss over. So to go back to that conversation about the final vote, and 5 guys all deserving, everybody can argue for their own guy. That's part of what makes it fun. The easy argument against Muncy is that he wasn't here until April 17th. But just to put that date into perspective, that's right around when Cody Bellinger was called up last year. There was no argument against his case. And remember that Justin Turner when there was zero argument against him being all-star worthy, he missed a few weeks last year because of a hamstring injury. Muncy grounds one foul, and it's 1-2. And so the plate appearances, Muncy's not qualified, but neither was Turner at this point last year. They're pretty even as far as number of plate appearances right now.
And Turner was about batting average and consistency, and Muncy has been more about pop.
Yeah, Turner's average was absurd. Going into the final vote, he was hitting above 380 last year. So by a more traditional metric, it was hard to keep him out. More the advanced stats have Muncy as a clear-cut good candidate. #1 in the National League in on-base plus slugging this year. And if you want a traditional stat, well, he's in the top 5 in home runs, even though he missed those first few weeks. On this 2-2, he fouls it off.
He's got a great national campaign name. You hear good things about him, it'll be easy to remember his name, and when you go to vote online, Max Muncy's name will stand out.
Because a lot of people look at it and say, wait a minute, who?
Because a lot of people have to learn, but so when they hear about what he's doing and he's in this race, they're going to be able to put it with a name real quick.
Ground ball to first. Hosmer whips it to second one. Galvis back to first, a double play. The Dodgers get 5 against Perdomo in the 4th.
Join T-Mobile in showing appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans. Way to the bottom of the 5th inning, and I would imagine that the San Diego Padres are happy to be back at Petco Park because the road certainly has not been kind to them. In fact, they've been away from Petco Park quite a bit recently. 23 of their last 28 games, you guys, have been on the road. They have a 10-18 record in the last 31 days, so basically a little bit over a month. When they left on the road trip, they were basically 4.5 games back in the National League West. When all of this ended, they now find themselves coming into today 11.5 games out of the division.
I mean, that is just crazy. 23 out of 28 on the road.
Never seen a schedule like that.
And Renfroe starting this 4th against Kershaw. And taking ball 1. It's 1-1.
Something like that is usually like construction, or the Olympics is in your town, or where you got to go away and they're using your stadium.
Were there World Cup games here?
I don't think so.
Satellite site for Russia, San Diego. On a 2-1 pitch, Renfroe hits it hard and it gets Turner. Taylor makes the catch off of the deflection, but his throw is late.
It's a smash. Looks like just gets off the thumb of Justin's glove. Chris Taylor outstanding, moving to his right and getting that, but the height of the deflection, no chance.
So Renfroe's been aboard both times tonight. Here's Eric Hosmer, who signed a record contract for the Padres. 8 years, $144 million. Has him locked in through his age 35 season. 2025 seems like a long time from now. He is under control until then. Coming off a career year in Kansas City, played every game last year. On base percentage was 50 points better than his career mark. His slugging was 70 points better than his career mark. Waits on a curve, lines it to Taylor, back to first, not in time. One away in this fourth. So Hosmer with an 0 of 2 so far has continued his slump. 2 for his last 35. One on, one out. Here's Villanueva. So these are the corners for the Padres infield, hitting back to back here. You have Hosmer, perennial all-star, over on the record contract. And then you have Villanueva, a 27-year-old rookie. Big curve gets him swinging and missing, 0-2. 8 minor league seasons for Villanueva. Finally got his first major league opportunity last September. Had a nice first week. The first opening day roster this year. Here comes an 0-2. Taken low. Originally signed with the Rangers, but was blocked by Adrian Beltre there, so they dealt him to the Cubs, and he's thinking, okay, good, this kind of opens the way for me. Nobody at third there. Well, a year later, the Cubs drafted Chris Bryant, and he was blocked again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the Cubs let him go after he missed all of 2016 with a broken leg that he suffered just taking routine ground balls in spring training one day. Leaped to glove a high bounce, came down awkwardly, and then went to the Padres on that minor league deal the next year. And here he is as their everyday third baseman 1 year after. He's out number 2 of the 4th.
Well, fans head to Dodger Stadium on July 14th at 4:15 when the Dodgers and the Angels face off in their second game of the Freeway Series at Dodger Stadium, driven by Lexus. Get there early, be one of the first 40,000 fans to take home a retro-inspired Clayton Kershaw bobblehead. Compliments of Arco. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
There's Perella with 2 out. Depending on when Walker Buehler gets slotted in this weekend, that is right now scheduled to be Kershaw's next start. Line up well. Strike 1.
Marketing genius.
Yeah, it's good foresight.
They probably had to plan this in the offseason of this year and met with Dave Roberts and tried to pick the right date.
How's
in
it shaking
July.
out? We got going on July 14th.
Dave gave him the okay back in May and predicted this is probably going to be Clayton's start. They made sure Walker gets slipped in at the right time to put Clayton right there. We'll see.
He's ahead of Perella 0-2. Struck Perella out his first time, one of the 4 total. Trying to throw up a 0 after the 5-run top of the inning. Home with an 0-2 and all the way to the backstop.
Clayton just helped the official score by patting his chest like my bad to Yasmani. So the official score will see that and really realize this is a wild pitch.
Starting to right pass ball down there.
Yeah. He needed the replay.
One, 2. He struck him out. Second of the inning, 5th of the night. Dodgers 5, Padres nothing.
To by your Southern California Toyota dealers. It's Toyota's Red, White, and You sales event. Celebrate your independence with a great deal on a new Camry.
And this is big news, folks. It is official. LeBron James signed his contract tonight and is now a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Spectrum Sportsnet, tune in for a special edition of Connected With as Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka talk exclusively with Chris McGee and Mike Bresnahan about how they landed the best player in the NBA. Wow.
Justin Turner leading off this 5th.
The news is big enough, but the inking is official.
It's official now. It's Facebook official. It's 1-1. It's no longer complicated. What an exciting thing for LA sports. I hear he's not the only one coming, too. I mean, they continue to add pieces. Turner digs that out, serves it past a diving Villanueva to open the 5th with a single.
Good news keeps on coming. LeBron James is signed and Justin Turner is hitting again. He's starting to heat up. Better start thinking about how we're going to get tickets to Laker games.
Oh, I've already started.
Can I be included?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we just become best friends?
A while ago, I thought.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Turner reads that one well. Ellis throws down late. And
you can't look for the ball
right
and hold the runner down. But if Justin gets up and tries to go to third and is encumbered, then they could have called interference. Gets away, a little wild pitch. The ball gets down there. Torella knows that ball's, or Galvis, sorry. And I don't know, is Justin holding on to him or is he holding Justin down?
It looked like a pretty mutual embrace. Inside on Bellinger, 2-0. Now for Luis Perdomo, he put up 3 zeros and looked like it was maybe putting behind him all those struggles against the Dodgers in his career. But a 5-run 4th inning as the offense comes alive, bringing 8 men to the plate in that frame. The 25-year-old from the Dominican Republic. A very unique path to where he's at right now. He pitches 2-0, and Bellinger gets under it and fouls it. That is going to reach the seats. Perdomo started his career in the Cardinals organization, pitched in 5 years in their minor league system. Never above A ball, and then he was a Rule 5 selection. Probably heard us talk about that a few times, but if you're selected in the Rule 5 draft, if your team wants to keep you, they've got to have you on the big league roster that next season for the whole year. And so even though he had an ERA around 6, they liked the potential. He had to take his lumps. They kept him that whole year when any other guy would have been sent down much sooner. But they didn't want to give him up. So they had him wear it in that 2016 season. And now in his 3rd major league year. He brings it 2-1 and misses. 3-1 on Bellinger. Now, last year was his first full year in the rotation. He was mostly a reliever that first season and did some good things. You talked about the ground ball rate. It was one of the best in the National League. They were hoping for big steps forward.
Well, that first year when you said he was going to wear it, he did, a mid-5 ERA, but he dropped it a whole point the next year.
Full count. They were so excited about him that they said no to some potential big deals where other teams wanted Perdomo included. There was a report that the Padres had interest this offseason in Javier Baez, but the talk stopped when the Cubs brought up Luis Perdomo.
I bet you when those deals come down and the general managers and the presidents and the owners are really going for the final decision, there's some sides that are so in love with the player you're going to get and they're not in love enough with their own player, and some places are so in love with the player they have and not as in love with the other side.
Bellinger absolutely pummels this one, but foul into the 3rd deck.
Less competition up there in the 3rd deck for a ball.
Yeah. He thought to himself, Perdomo's been throwing his changeup more.
Bellinger's got good pop.
I'm going to sit right here.
Between that and Kershaw's bobblehead falling on the exact day that Dave Roberts planned it.
A lot of smart people out there, Earl.
Yep.
Turner's at 2nd. Nobody out here in the 5th. Perdomo to Bellinger with another 3-2. Another foul ball. Being a way they can't quite get there. Speaking of that triple-decker shot there from Bellinger, one thing we haven't talked about is that Max Muncy's going to the home run derby.
And he goes deep a lot in BP. When he gets on a roll, it could be a lot of fun. Cody's going to be able to tell him about the bright lights and being out there in the middle of the field by yourself with just your dad. I don't know who's going to throw to Max.
Maybe it's his dad Lee, who's such a big part of his
so you never know. That would be a great thing. What a memory. But everybody who does it for the first time says it is different.
Bellinger called that maybe the most special memory of his rookie year, and that his dad was involved. Waits on another payoff. Grounds it foul. So Muncy pretty much announced it himself. He was going to the home run derby. Pulled the trigger a little before he was supposed to.
Oops.
And so then Major League Baseball officially announced not the 5 or however many it is for the NL. They just announced that Muncy's going because he went and did it himself. Here's another 3-2. Bellinger turns on it. Skyscraper to right center. Playable for Renfroe. One gone, and we go down to Alana.
Well, guys, Dave Roberts, of course, the manager of the National League team for that All-Star game, has already said he is bringing his entire coaching staff along with him, in addition to Bud Black, as well as Dave Martinez to join his coaching staff. But as far as Max Muncy is concerned, with that home run derby that he wasn't necessarily supposed to talk about, it looks like Turner Ward is going to be pitching to him.
Awesome. That is so cool. They should Mike Turner up for it. Here's Kemp with 1 out.
And I want a heart rate monitor on him too. I want to see if the coaches or the guys throwing the BP get as nervous as I think they might.
Somebody as conscientious as Turner.
Yeah, you got a clock on it now. It's not like, oh, he can take until you get it to the right place. A little bit of the competition falls on the pitcher. He's stretching already. It's the wrong arm, Turner. It's the wrong arm.
Pressure's already cracking him. Matt Kemp tonight grounded into a double play, walked and scored.
The home run derby, we've had father selections, but we've had favorite BP guy from your team who comes. That could be Turner Ward. We've had high school coaches, college coaches do it.
Of course, the thing that always pops up anytime you hear about a guy going to the home run derby is those that fear that the home run derby ruins guys' swings. How do you feel about that?
I think it depends on the individual. And you know what? You can make the stats read any way you want, because there are going to be guys that go into slumps, whether in the home run derby or not.
High fly ball to center field for Margot. 2 out.
I think the best evidence is when a player maybe in future years admits that it changed them. And maybe we'll be able to see with all the new technology and all reads that we have as far as swing path, and did their path change? Did, you know, the biomechanics of their swing change? More in-depth analysis now.
Well, Peterson was there as a rookie, didn't have the same second half that he did first half, but the numbers had started to tail off before he went. Turner at second, 2 out. Yasmani Grandal 2 for 2 tonight. Ground ball to first. Eric Hosmer, kind of a funky bounce, and then it pops out of his glove, and Grandal reaches. With a massive slump that Hosmer is in offensively, he's been pretty spectacular on defense, that play notwithstanding.
The glove that Eric Hosmer uses, wears every day, it wouldn't matter. He's that good a fielder, and it just failed him on the exchange right there. He caught it cleanly. Just didn't roll it out of the glove into his bare hand the way he normally does.
Taylor's 2 for 2 after the 1 for 12 series in Anaheim. One ball, no strikes.
Line drive to left, line drive to right. Let's see if he knows where center field is.
Two and out. Now, the only other guy that we know for certain that's going to be in the home run derby is Bryce Harper, I believe. Bryce doing it in his home ballpark. That's a high strike, 2-1. I don't know if you read today, Sports Illustrated from Tom Verducci talking about Bryce Harper trying to turn his season around. He's gone back to good old-fashioned early tee work on the field. Trying to get that swing back to normal. 3-1 on Chris Taylor. And the Nationals start action tonight, 5 games back of the Phillies and Braves. Turner at third, Grandal at first, and Chris Taylor yanks one in the air to left. Will Myers moves over to catch it and end the 5th. Halfway home in San Diego, the strength of a 5-run 4th, all Dodgers.
Take a look at the Kona Brewing Company in-game box score, and it's on Clayton Kershaw, the ace, back on the mound, healthy off the DL, now in his 4th start, and the strikeout ball has returned. First pitch strikes down for him, but after that he has pounded the zone and finished him off.
How about his last 44 1/3 against San Diego? He's given up 2 runs. Freddie Galvis to open the 5th for the Padres. 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers trying to make it 13 consecutive wins when Kershaw's on the mound against San Diego. Chopper to third, Turner. 1 out. Second matchup between Kershaw and A.J. Ellis. And Ellis trying to hold back a smile as he looks out at Kershaw. Yeah, Kershaw trying to do the same. That's about the only time you're ever going to see Clayton Kershaw crack a smile on a baseball field.
I'm wondering if A.J. told Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire, to deliver a message. Because Gibson went out there and changed the ball, looked like he was saying something.
I bet you're exactly right.
Because before Gibson arrived to Kershaw, A.J. was already smiling, like, I'm sending him out there. Or maybe he was telling him to change the ball because I know he cheats, you know, something like that. And then that's not literal. That would be the joke out there. Clayton doesn't cheat.
one of the lasting images of A.J. Ellis's final day in a Dodger uniform. We found out he'd been traded to Philadelphia in 2016 was him and Clayton Kershaw. The Dodger Stadium dugout seats in tears together. Two and two.
AJ could barely verbalize, you know, the most painful part of it, and he said, yeah, I'm going to be away from my friend, but he said, you know, the thing that he got choked up on is that I'm not going to get to catch this guy every 5th day. And such a bond and trust between them. When Clayton, you need a good jockey when you're as big a horse as Clayton is, and AJ was a wonderful friend and still is, but they absolutely loved being battery mates.
First caught him when Clayton was 19 in Double-A. He's worked the count full. Ellis remembers Kershaw snapping at him during the bullpen that first day. And AJ just told him just relax, and Kershaw didn't like that. Stays alive here. So Clayton acts a lot older than he really is, and AJ says he tries to act a lot younger than he is, so they kind of meet in the middle. AJ's 7 years older than Clayton. And that chemistry they had at Bote came first from being close friends. Another 3-2. Ellis hits a fly ball to right field for Matt Kemp. 2 gone.
That's a big out for Clayton, because here comes the best hitter on the Padres.
Throwing shade.
It's the only hit off of Clayton tonight. Comes in the 9 hole from the pitcher.
Oh, 1. Another hard hit ball, but this one right at Chris Taylor. And the Padres down in order in the 5th. Finish. Beautiful human Andrew Toles and his return to the majors tonight. An intentional walk A 2-run double, and then he scores from third on a high throw from the second baseman, Perella.
He did a magnificent job in breaking from third base. Good heads-up play, outstanding slide that was low and wide, just using his left hand. Probably learned that from Rich Hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell you what, he did it a lot better than Rich. Boy, is it nice to see him back in uniform.
This makes you smile.
He does.
Leads off the 6th against Perdomo, and smacks a ground ball to Perella at second. 1 pitch, 1 out. You know, last year when he tore his ACL, that was May 9th. Easy to forget, but he was leading the team in homers at the time of that injury. He had hit 5 over the first month to lead the club. He's the opening day left fielder, opening day leadoff hitter. Who knows what he can bring to the table over the final few months this year. Kershaw stays in, takes a strike. One and one. So the grind of the rehab from that knee injury in Arizona gave him even some more perspective entering the year. Kershaw smacks a bounce at a third. Villanueva.
Well, fans, start your weekend off with a bang and head to Dodger Stadium July 13th for Friday night fireworks. Watch the boys in blue open up the Freeway Series versus the Angels at 7:10. After the game, catch the best fireworks show in town and watch a pyro show set to the smooth sounds of LA. Friday night fireworks is presented by Denny's. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Oral Andrews said this spring that during spring training, sometimes he doesn't even care if he's in the game. He just wants to watch it. He loves practicing. He just likes it all right now. Haven't had it taken from him. Jock Peterson with 2 out in the 6th takes a strike. And this wasn't a guy that was lacking in perspective to begin with everything that he'd gone through to get to the big leagues in the first place. But a whole nother level of it after having last year taken away.
I think he liked lifting upper body too. He looks a little thicker since he couldn't do as much with the legs. So I think some of the heavy lifting came with the biceps, triceps, and pecs. He looks a lot stronger.
It's a little more like Dad. Alvin played in the NFL. Fly ball to center field. Manny Margot runs under it. And on 8 pitches, Perdomo with a 1-2-3-6.
Down by Carl's Jr., the tempting El Diablo Thickburger has returned to Carl's Jr. Pick it up before it's gone.
One hit over 5 shutout innings allowed by Clayton Kershaw. Just a measly single to the opposing pitcher, Luis Perdomo. And here he is for the second outing in a row, pitching into the 6th. And he's doing it on just 77 pitches.
Clayton hasn't been himself as far as the first pitch of an at-bat, but after that he has been pounding the zone and the breaking balls have been sharp. First pitch strike's a little low for him.
Manuel Margot opens the 6th and takes a strike.
He hovers around 70% first pitch strikes. Everybody in the league knows the attacks. Tonight he's right around 50%. But he has been locked in after that pitch.
His 80th tonight is a 1-1, and Margot watches it hit the corner. 1-2.
A few more pitches tonight because you're striking people out. Only 2 strikeouts in his last outing, but he did go 6 innings and throw 74, so a little bit more efficient.
Bounce past him behind the bag. Muncy with a tough play, and he makes it look easy for the first out of the 6th.
Max playing up the middle, but decides to round this one off and forehand this ball, and that was a great decision, being able to use that speed right there with that one little quick step, creating the angle so his momentum was going towards home plate instead of away from first base.
So 1 out. Myers bats with the bases empty. Now for Max, the question has always been the defense. Curveball in there for a strike. He's always hit, no matter where he's been. His coach at Baylor asked a pro scout where he thought that he should play Max as his bat was starting to draw attention from pro scouts. The scout just looked at him with a straight face, said, as far away from the ball as you can.
Oh my.
Eventually landed at first, became a pretty decent defensive first baseman. He's still not a standout defensively. 2-1. But Dodgers hoping that he can be solid enough to play there at second every day, a spot where they've not gotten production.
A few things have helped guys with all the data and the shifting. The positioning is better for guys who have less range. The other thing that helps guys be kind of hidden, let's say, in the infield if they're not the best defender, is the Chase Utley rule. The efficiency of the turn is not so big around second base now because you can't get taken out. So if you can do it just conventionally, you don't have to have a lot of fancy footwork around the bag and be super fast. The other thing is, you're not always the guy who has to turn it when the Dodgers go into the shift. Sometimes Justin Turner is the guy they have up there around the bag, or they have him over, and you end up in the shift in a place where you don't have to run a long way to get to second to receive the ball.
Here comes a payoff. Myers pulls a base hit to left.
If Max Muncy can make that routine play, and he can make the routine turn, and he can go to his left sufficiently and go to his right sufficiently, he's going to be positioned well enough where he can handle that position.
And he's played it some, played it a little bit in Oakland, played it a little bit in the minors. So Goodell starting to get ready. At this point, though, bottom line, you live with the perhaps still questionable defense there just because you haven't seen enough. You live with that because of what he's doing at the plate. Have to find a way to have him in there. Settles under this pop-up. Puts Renfroe away. 2 gone.
Where our infield coach and outfield coach, Chris Woodward and George Lombard, they know talent. Remember when we saw Chris Taylor taking fly balls and we thought it was going to be an adventure, and all of a sudden George Lombard goes, no. Before we've even seen him catch a ball in the outfield, but just practice, says, nope, he's going to be fine. Well, Chris Taylor was outstanding in center field. Well, Chris Woodward is the same way with infielders, and he immediately said about Max Muncy, after hitting him a few ground balls and watching his action, he said, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, said solid, good hands. Doesn't have great range, but again, you don't necessarily ask for that out of your second baseman that's hitting the way that he is. Gets to that ball, throws Hosmer out. 6 shutout innings for Clayton Kershaw tonight to the late innings in San Diego.
Scenes as Kenley Jansen and Matt Kemp find out they've made the 2018 National League All-Star team. Plus Max Muncy gets a chance to join them when he's named a final vote finalist. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers presented by Cadillac Friday after the postgame show on Sportsnet LA.
And it's Muncy to open this inning against Perdomo. 1 ball, no strikes. Perdomo back out there at 97 pitches right now. Sails on him, and it's 2-0. Kershaw getting the word from Dave Roberts that his night is finished with a 5-0 lead. His pitch count in the high 80s right now. Wanted to keep going, but with the lead intact how it is, Dave Roberts going to talk him into dealing with it. 6 innings, nothing across. Once he takes a 4-pitch walk to start the 7th, he's aboard for the first time tonight.
Look, Clayton was outstanding. 89 pitches, 60 strikes. The curveball was on. 12 curveballs, 10 for strikes. And you appreciate a competitor that always wants to stay in there. It's hard to go from game face, I will do anything to win the game, to, oh yes, I'll negotiate with my manager to try and stay in, and nice calm face.
Turner pops the first pitch up and foul ground at first. Hosmer makes the play. So quick trip up there that time for Turner. It's 1 away from Bellinger.
4 of the 5 strikeouts from Clayton came on his slider tonight. Like they're reviewing a few things, just going over what good happened. Fastball wasn't a swing and miss pitch tonight for Clayton. 0 for 19 when they went and swung at that. They made some kind of contact.
Well, Bellinger came into the game 2 for his last 17. He's 2 for 3 tonight. And he's behind 0-1. Great relationship those two have.
It was a three-headed monster back when you had A.J. Ellis, Clayton Kershaw, and Rick Honeycutt together. The way they, well, I would say A.J. and Rick would really game plan for Clayton and break it down completely, and then Clayton would tell them what he was going to do. But they always worked really hard together, the three of them. Unbelievable communication. I wouldn't be surprised someday to see A.J. Ellis back in a Dodger uniform in some type of capacity as a coach, maybe someday a manager. He is that kind of personality and intelligence and love for the game.
That's foul. You didn't like it when I floated Ross Stripling's name as your replacement 70 years from now, so I won't float A.J. Ellis's either.
Not for Dave Roberts, that's right.
I'm talking
up here again?
Yeah.
So you've got multiple candidates?
No, I said I won't do that.
Oh, you won't?
I won't float his name as your replacement in 2090.
That's not throwing shade.
You learned that tonight, huh?
I know. You dropped that on me. I'm like, between innings, I'm taking off the headset going, okay, what's this throwing shade stuff?
Bellinger with his third hit of the night. Dug it out of there and dropped it into the right field corner. Muncy hangs on at third on Bellinger's second double of the night.
Well, another really nice swing. This one, Cody stays in the swing and tracks the ball. And again, that bat is in the plane of the ball for a long time. And you know what he's done tonight also? I know we've had the pretty line drive right, pretty line drive to left on the swings, but he has fouled off a lot of inside pitches to keep himself alive and up there at the plate compared to swinging and missing. A lot more accurate bat tonight for Cody with the mechanics.
And at 105 pitches, the visit is from the pitching coach Darren Balsley and not from the manager Andy Green. Action down in that bullpen. Perdomo first 3 innings didn't give anything up. In fact, 5 of the 6 innings tonight he didn't give anything up. All 5 coming in the 4th. Kemp 0 for 2. Swings at the first pitch and lifts one to right center field. This should be plenty deep enough. Muncy tags and heads home. Renfroe's throw goes towards third. RBI sacrifice fly for Kemp, and they lead at 6-0. Two out. Here's Grandal. Happy to get one more look at Perdomo. 2 for 3 against him tonight. 2 home runs lifetime. Ball 1. How long are they allowed to rock the Stars and Stripes?
That's a good question. We've seen some neon orange and green shoes around that are kind of a holiday color or a theme color for the day, but guys have continued to wear them. Not Dodgers, but I've seen it on other teams.
Thing is, with this, it works with the Dodger uniform.
Sure
right?
does. And he's hot. He's not changing.
No, you're right. He's allowed to wear stars. He's been swinging it.
You might be able to continue to wear those theme uniforms if you get more than 2 hits. Who knows?
Sounds like a good rule.
Rick Krajewski over your shoulder did not think. He was giving me a very sarcastic roll of the eyes, like you're barking up the wrong tree, Bulldog.
Nice. See what you did there. Two one. Drifts away. 3 balls, 1 strike. Grandal's on base percentage in July above 600. He's got Bellinger at second with 2 out. And digs this one out to right center field. Renfroe reaches up to catch it and take extra bases away from Grandal. But the Dodgers add 1. And as we stretch, it's 6-0.
Ball.
Some defensive changes to report. Chase Utley's in the game at second. That bumps Max Muncy over to first. Sends Cody Bellinger from first to right. So take Matt Kemp out of the game. You can plug the pitcher into the 5 spot. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. That pitcher is Eric Goodell.
Well, Eric looking to protect this lead at 6-0, do his job, hand it off to somebody else in the bullpen to get to the end. Not going to be a save situation if everybody does their job in front of Kenley Jansen.
Goodell, just his 3rd appearance in July. He's put up zeros in each of the first 2. And Christian Villanueva leads off this 7th. Takes very high, ball 1. Goodell had hit a bit of a rough patch in late June, but you toss out about that week-and-a-half stretch there. He's been perfect in a Dodger uniform since coming over from the Mariners in mid-May. And while there have been many things at play as the Dodgers have turned it around, it is interesting to note that Goodell came over right at the very beginning of this 32-15 run. His 2-0 pitch. Nice break to it, 2-1.
The 7th and 8th inning role in tight games. The bridge to Kenley Jansen has not really settled in to be one guy out of the bullpen. It's kind of more who's the hot hand.
Lately that's been Hudson and Alexander. A foul here, 2-2. Over the last month, to your point, Jansen, Hudson, Alexander together with a sub-2 ERA. Everybody else has a 5.30.
It seems like when guys out of the bullpen have gotten in trouble and they've gone from hot to cold or hot to just solid, it's been about the home run ball.
He strikes him out. 1 away in the 7th.
Eric's got an outstanding split finger and curveball, and against the team that will chase, you don't have to get it as close. And that one looked a little bit like a strike, but really swung and missed that because of the aggressiveness.
Here's Perella with one out. Yeah, Goodell is very much part of that story where when he's kept the ball on the yard, he's been good. When he's not, he's not. You hear that and it's like, well, duh. But
well, they're not stringing hits together on him. They're not walking people and setting the table, and all of a sudden it gets away from him and starts to spiral. It's like people almost ambush them, maybe falling behind in the count, but you don't get to the walk because they say, I got to get in the strike zone. Here comes the home run.
When Goodell doesn't allow a home run, he doesn't allow a run this year.
There you have it. So it was easy.
Yeah.
But there is a reason, because we see that with Josh Fields too.
Tomahawked on the ground to Utley. 2 out.
I mean, a different scenario for somebody when they hit the slump and had to go to the minors. Scott Alexander was more about release point and walks and base hits and the ball's up, and they're hitting too many line drives off him when he should be a ground ball specialist. But it's one of the hardest things to do is to stay hot for a whole year like Kenley Jansen has since going through his tiny little rough patch at the beginning, now an all-star. And he said the all-star selection this year is probably more satisfying than the other two because of that slow start.
1 ball, no strikes on Freddie Galvis. It's on the corner, 1-1. Freddie Galvis is the new active leader in consecutive games played. He was second behind Alcides Escobar of the Royals, but Escobar had yesterday off. So now Galvis 256 games in a row. That's the longest streak. And just to remind you what that final number was for Cal Ripken, 2,632 in a row. The longest active right now, 256. Sharp break, 2-2.
He's almost 2,400 short.
Yeah, keep at it, Freddie. Goodell with a 1-2-3-7. Bookend strikeouts and an impressive inning for Goodell, and a 6-0 lead after 7. presented by your Southern California Ford dealers.
All right, thanks, Joe. The Dodgers trying to remain perfect this year in San Diego. 6 shutout innings for Clayton Kershaw tonight.
Kersh was sharp, and welcome back, Andrew Tolles.
Absolutely. Jerry and Nomar will join us as well to break it down after the game. Alana has reaction from the clubhouse as the Dodgers try to close to within a half game in the NL West.
With the Diamondbacks off tonight, it's Carlos Asuaje, who's checked into the game at second. And Walker Lockett, his first career relief outing in the majors, begins with a strike on Chris Taylor. Lockett started on June 1st against Cincinnati and allowed 4 runs with 9 base runners over 3 2/3. Nothing in 2.
That start, he averaged about 91 miles an hour on his fastball, relied on all 4 pitches that he throws, including his changeup, his curve, and his cutter.
He's 24 from Jacksonville, Florida, and he strikes out Taylor in short order. So Andrew Tolles up there again. A 2-run double in his first at-bat back. Now, Tolles outplayed Jock Peterson during spring training, but the Dodgers electing to get him down to Oklahoma City to get him some more at-bats. Coming back from the knee injury, obviously. The Dodgers saying what Jock Peterson did in the World Series in 2017 had to be worth something, even with the poor spring training that Jock had. That's proven to be a good decision, carrying Jock. The kind of numbers he's put up over the last couple months. Tolles went down there, hit right away, but then injured his hamstring. And since coming back from that has been red hot. She had to wait for an opportunity. The depth that they have in the outfield, obviously one of the great strengths of the organization, but for a guy like Tolles, it's something holding him back. Look out. He's trying to eliminate outfielders himself. 2 of them with 1. 2 outfielders with 1 stone.
Matty Kemp relaxing over there, being replaced as far as defense. Give him a little rest. Almost gets hurt. It's like, dude, I'm getting behind the screening.
Ground ball, left side, base hit. Two for 3 in his return to the majors. Here's Chase Utley to pinch hit. It was a great story that we told earlier this year about Andrew Tolles. A reporter in Oklahoma City asked him how he was doing. It's kind of in passing, and Andrew said, not very good. Jock's hitting, Kemp's hitting, Weeks hitting, Kike's hitting. just being brutally honest, which is all he's capable of doing.
There are very few filters in Andrew Tolles. And it's refreshing, isn't it?
It sure is.
Because instead of having to say, I know he's not feeling good, Jock's hitting, you go that in your head. No, he just tells you.
It's on the corner, 0-2. And you may hear that and say, well, that's not being a team guy. But everybody that's in that situation thinks that way. It's just Andrew's willing to say it.
It's kind of like Zach Greinke was with A.J. Ellis. When A.J. goes up to Zach and says, what would you do to improve this team going forward? And Zach says, probably trade you.
Because your value will never be higher.
Your value will never be higher. That would be a precious conversation. Zach Greinke and Andrew Tolles.
Ground ball base hit for Utley off of the bench. Tolles trying to go first to third, and he does safely. Hope he's okay. Stumbling in there. Hose from Renfroe and right.
Renfroe does have a big arm, and first of all, Utley finds the hole with a very hard ground ball. Tolles can fly, but I'm not so sure about the landing gear. They need to put some foam on the runway for this one. Oh, come on.
Can laugh because he's okay.
Yeah.
You cringe with the knee injury that he's coming off of. That was one of the things that was one of the last things for him to gain comfort with was sliding. At the corners, one out. Jock Peterson looks at ball one. Jock 0 for 4 tonight, trying to snap an 0 for 18 slide. We were talking about it earlier tonight, the lack of production over the weekend against Anaheim. They scored 8 runs in the 3 games. Well, they have 6 tonight. They had 37 strikeouts in those 3 games. They have just 1 tonight. Chris Taylor to start this inning was the first. 2-2 on Peterson, and a nice changeup from Lockett.
And this team is not going to be perfect. This team is going to go through its ups and downs, but I think they're a championship team if they continue to shorten the cold streaks, which happened in Anaheim, and lengthen the hot streaks. They look like a team that can really, really get on another run, and maybe a couple more runs in this regular season once they get past the All-Star break.
There's the second K tonight. 2 out in the 8th. And Muncy comes up. Can you believe we are less than a week away from the break?
No, it felt really long early on when they weren't winning. But once they got hot and climbed back up to near the top of the West, the season started like it started moving fast again.
1-0.
The starting pitching is getting healthy. We're going to have 6 healthy starters before the All-Star break with Buehler coming back. The bullpen has been solid. Kenley Jansen has been almost perfect. They continue to work on their defense almost every single day. It's almost like the most important thing of the day now, where they do work hard in every aspect of the game, but it seems like Dave Roberts and Chris Woodward and the coaching staff are always pushing the ground balls, the fly balls, the shagging, the routes. And for me, compared to my day, it seems like there's a lot more infield work. I think because individuals are having to be at multiple positions on a daily basis to get work, so there's just more action out there during batting practice. Guys shagging balls, and Bellinger's at first, and then he's going in the outfield and seeing how they are off the bat, you know, and Muncy's moving around to 3 positions. And Turner's taking balls where he would take them on the shift, not at third base. So it's not a 3-ring circus. That's the wrong example, but it is definitely organized, and there's a lot of action out there.
First and third, 2 out, and a 2-2 to Max Muncy. He's worked it full, so Utley would get a head start from first. The payoff. Takes it high, his second walk. And that loads him up for Justin Turner. Two for 4 tonight. 2 of the 12 hits for the Dodgers. And the Dodger fans making themselves heard.
The young man just called up from AAA today. Now they have a man on second, so probably reviewing some signs. This is pressure for him. Back in the big leagues, bases loaded, 2 out. Trying to make a good first impression on this recall. AJ even going a little bit more over signs there. I think he's going more over approach and how to attack Turner.
Bases loaded in the 8th. And Justin Turner takes ball 1. Have you seen a team get down to 1 mound visit remaining in a game you've covered this year?
No. And I don't think I've even been in a game where there's been so many that I wanted to look up and check.
Right. On a 1-0 pitch, Turner gets out of the way. Ball 2. Nowhere to put him. So they're allotted 1 more before any visit after that means you've got to change the pitcher. Turner to left. Top spinning line drive, base hit. Throw to the plate offline. Throw to third will get Muncy, but a 2-run single for Justin Turner, and the Dodgers lead it 8-0 to the bottom of the 8th.
Driven by Lexus at Dodger Stadium when they face off against the Angels on July 13th through July 15th. For tickets, visit dodgers.com/tickets. You better get those tickets in a hurry. All those games are almost capacity in Anaheim. There's a large following in Los Angeles. Those two teams, a lot of stars to watch. Angels not doing as well as they want, but boy, oh boy, do they have some people to watch with Ohtani and Pujols and Trout and everybody else.
Some more changes for you. Hernandez in the game and right. Bellinger back to first. Muncy over to third. And Turner comes out. Here's Caleb Ferguson for his 4th relief appearance. And boy, he sure has been good out of the bullpen, hasn't he?
This young man gives you a lot of length out of the bullpen because, of course, we've seen him start. He is not afraid to throw strikes and get more and more comfortable every big league outing. Got his first big league save in a blowout where he went 3 scoreless.
Gets ahead of A.J. Ellis, 0-2.
Scott Alexander, the sinker slider guy, ground ball artist. Paredes kind of a left-handed specialist down there with a sweeping breaking ball. And Caleb Ferguson brings another set of tools with that heavy fastball and a little bit more of a 12-6 curveball. And out of the bullpen, probably the fastball is going to play up a little bit. So, I mean, you'll probably see some 96s out of him. Some different looks from the left side coming out of the Dodger pen.
Ellis slashes a liner to right. Hernandez picks it off. Well, Ferguson in his last outing got the save in that 17-1 game, pitching the final 3 innings. That matched the franchise record for the largest margin of victory in a save. Ed Roebuck, 1957, also picked up a save in a 16-run win. But by today's save rules, that one wouldn't have counted because Roebuck only went 2 2/3. Here's Carlos Asuaje taking a strike. Save officially became a stat in 1969, and when they went through and credited guys in past games with saves, they gave one to anybody who finished a game and held the lead regardless of the length of outing. And so Ed Roebuck gets credit for a save in 1957 going 2 2/3, but would not have today. Curve drops in for strike 3.
Well, we've seen his fastball at 95, and he just threw that curveball at 75. 20-mile-an-hour differential that gets you to flinch right there.
Two quick outs in the 8th, and Manuel Margot comes up. Roebuck was a Dodger for most of his big league career, and Ed just passed away a few weeks ago. Chopper to short. Taylor's there. 1-2-3-8 on 9 pitches for Caleb Ferguson. There's a great story about Ed Roebuck and hitting fungos. We'll tell you when we come back. Brought to you by Arco, and it's Cody Bellinger's 3-hit night.
Well, that's the one he's beat out with his wheels, but the other two were very pretty swings and solid line drives. Cody Bellinger getting in a groove right now, hitting the fastball to left, hitting the breaking ball to right, and using his legs to get the third hit.
And he leads off this 9th inning with the Dodgers in front by a bunch. So Ed Roebuck, fungos. If you're not familiar with what a fungo is, we should probably just tell you that first. Longer, thin bat that's used to hit ground balls, hit fly balls for fielding practice. To chopper to the right side. Villanueva's there. And Bellinger the first out of the 9th. Ed Roebuck was exceptionally good at hitting fungos. He used to do target practice as they'd go around the league to the different stadiums. There was an eagle that was on top of the scoreboard in St. Louis, the old stadium. He hit the eagle on the fly with a fungo.
Wow.
So that's pretty darn accurate, right? I mean, cleared the roof in Pittsburgh at Forbes Field. That's just more brute strength. Here's Hernandez. Hit the center field fence at the Polo Grounds. That's 455. So he was a good fungo hitter. Walter O'Malley knew this about Roebuck. His reputation kind of preceded him when it came to his fungo hitting. That's off of the glove of Galvis, and Hernandez with a base hit. Astrodome is in the process of construction, and the architect knew Walter O'Malley and asked him, how high do you think I should build the roof? Right, this is the first domed baseball stadium, and for whatever reason it popped into Walter's head, I wonder how high Roebuck can hit his fungo. Because I can't imagine a hitter hitting a ball in a game any higher than Roebuck can hit a fungo. So we asked him, and Roebuck said, well, I've never really thought about it, but I guess about 200, 300 feet. I don't know. Strike one on the Osmani Grandal. So O'Malley says, okay, that sounds good, but come show me. So he takes him out to the fields during spring training, and they spent about 20 minutes with Roebuck just hitting fungos straight into the air, trying to get a read for how high you can actually hit it. The answer was indeed 200 feet. So O'Malley calls the architect of the Astrodome back and tells him, sure enough, the ceiling of the Astrodome 208 feet. Grandal lines it back to the mound. They get 1, 2 out.
Ed Roebuck could also hit the ball as hard as Yasmani did. If Lockett was taking grounders from him, decided to hit him a line drive, he'd have to react that quick. And boy, it was really heads up after catching it, to not be startled enough, but to remember to maybe double off Kike at first. Hosmer just couldn't get there in time.
2 gone in the 9th. Chris Taylor's the batter. Watches one spin low and in. 1-0. How are you as a fungo hitter?
It was a lot of fun, but in our day they didn't let us do a lot of it. They were afraid, you know, you're going to hurt, you know, come out and help out. You help out in the minor leagues hitting fungos to the outfielders. If you were a relief pitcher one day, the starters did it the next day, did that work of helping out in infield practice. At the big league level, if you grabbed a fungo, started hitting grounders, a coach would be there to take it out of your hand within about 2 slashes.
It's funny you mentioned that, because Walter Alston used to get really mad at Roebuck. In fact, when they got to the Coliseum and he tried to hit it up into the archways, Alston saw it and fined him. I want to say fined him like $200, something like that. And so when Roebuck helped O'Malley out, figuring out how high he could hit it, he asked him, what did Walter fine you? And he told him $200, whatever the total was. Next day, a runner brought a bag of quarters with $200 out to Roebuck. O'Malley paid him back for what Alston had fined him for hitting the fungo. The bottom of the 9th, we go 8-0.
officially inked. LeBron James has signed with the Los Angeles Lakers tonight, and tomorrow Sports Spectrum Net at 3 o'clock. Tune in for a special edition of Connected With as Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka talk exclusively with Chris McGee and Mike Bresnahan about how they landed the best player in the NBA.
It's a must-watch, huh? Behind the scenes, how it all went down.
Magic was very confident prior to the announcement, weeks prior, that he was going to get it done and he was going to please the Los Angeles community, and his confidence was very accurate.
Will Myers opening this night, taking a ball from Caleb Ferguson.
When has Magic really failed? Helped rescue the Dodgers as far as ownership and being part of the whole community, and our ownership group toggling over to the Lakers and now turning the franchise around there and bringing the best basketball player on the planet in.
One and two on Myers. It's a 4-game series. Rich Hill and Eric Lauer tomorrow. Then Maeda and Joey Lucchesi on Wednesday. Ross Stripling, Tyson Ross on Thursday. You are off tomorrow. We'll be back Wednesday.
Yes.
Good reason, though.
A very special engagement where MLB has done a documentary or a highlight documentary on the '88 team, and I'm getting to go help introduce it with Mr. Vin Scully tomorrow night. So drive back to LA and be back here for Wednesday and Thursday's game, and you'll have Nomar tomorrow.
I was actually thinking we may hold interviews with Ross Stripling and AJ Ellis tomorrow.
Yeah.
To fill in for you.
Okay.
You don't like that idea?
Well, just let me know how the interviews go, because if it's going to happen quick, I won't even come back.
I want you back. You're my best friend. Myers hits a high fly ball to left field. Peterson back on it. At the wall. Sizes it up and can't quite get there. Myers with his 5th home run in his last 3 games.
Will Myers is swinging a hot bat, and he gets a fastball in the inner half. He had one from Clayton Kershaw early in the game. He kind of hung his head, was surprised he missed it. Well, he didn't miss this one. And a young Dodger fan with the score the way it is, 8-1. It's okay for him, that little guy, to get the ball and be happy he got a big league baseball. Dodgers are well out in front.
Renfroe now the other way. Hernandez for the first out. Who else on this team you think would make future? And I asked this seriously.
Okay,
obviously, I hope we work together forever. But who else do you think would have a chance to do that one day?
Well, we thought AJ Ellis, right? We mentioned him, and Ross Stripling. I think you're right on. I don't want to offend anybody and not start naming a whole bunch of names, but Kike Hernandez would be a lot of fun.
For sure. Studio.
Yeah, more studio. So Jay Hare, watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I think would be really, really good at it? I don't know that he'll want to, but I think Clayton Kershaw could be really good as a game analyst.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Sandy Koufax tried it. He didn't really enjoy it, but he would be very good at it if he would enjoy it. But you got to enjoy it to kind of put the work in and also be able to articulate your thoughts kind of quickly and accurately. But Clayton does break down the game at a very high level.
Hosmer the other way. That is a fair ball. He gets by Peterson. Hosmer with a double.
Justin Turner. Very good interview. Very thoughtful. Understands the context of the game. I've told the fans this before, but You know, everybody always says Rick Honeycutt, and Debbie Honeycutt, his wife, says he can't finish a sentence in 15 seconds. He can't finish a thought in 15 seconds. He's gonna, no. He's not gonna do that, because we live in the same area there in Pasadena, same building. We hang out, and he watches my schedule, and he's like, oh, off day, huh? He's going to the park. I'm like, you should try this when you want to retire. She's like, no, he can't do that. He can't do that.
Dave Roberts did a little bit of it.
Oh, Dave would be great.
When he has done some.
Yeah.
Here comes a 1-0 to Christian Villanueva. It's grounded foul.
There could be a booth right there, Dave and Justin. They just need a play-by-play guy if you're still around. I'm not interviewing or thinking about any of your replacements.
I'm not taking tomorrow off.
I'd have to start interviewing like 5- and 7-year-olds. Like, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Jam shot down the line. Hernandez won't get there. Hosmer stopping at third on a base hit from Villanueva.
Hey, kid, let me hear you say ball one.
So first hit of the night for Villanueva. Padres one in the bank here in the ninth. At the corners for Austin Hedges, who will pinch hit. Hedges missed a huge chunk of time with a sore elbow. Tenth game since returning. He's hitting above 250 since. 25-year-old catcher from Orange County. Ball one from Ferguson. Went to J. Serra High School and then was going to go to UCLA. He decided to sign with the Padres when they drafted him in the second round. Hedges caught all 16 innings yesterday in Arizona.
You know what we might look back on and say at the end of the series was not good, didn't seem important? The Hosmer double. You don't want him to wake up with 3 more games to go. He's been so cold and he's been so good. His resume is there. That double right there and off a lefty. Who knows if all of a sudden he wakes up tomorrow and says, I found it.
Because hitters of that level always do. Just a matter of time.
Scouting reports and where they're at right now, but a lot of that stuff changes as soon as they have that one swing or that one at bat, and here they come, and they are different.
And he says he knows it when he starts getting close.
It'll be something to watch. He has been so cold and working so hard to get out of it. A little 9th inning double in a game where it's not probably going to matter. It might matter the rest of the series.
Yeah, the Dodgers had the same thing on Mike Trout going into the weekend. He was in a huge slump and he hoped that he wouldn't break out of it. Knew that he would eventually. Just hoped that it wasn't against them, but he did. Hedges down on strikes and the Padres down to their final out.
You know, like as the reverberations of a Justin Turner comes back into the lineup and everybody starts to settle in, there also is a reverse effect when your top hitter and the guy who's supposed to be the leader is in a slump, and everybody feels more pressure and everybody feels like his slump is actually affecting them emotionally, everything. Because if he's struggling, boy, how am I going to get on mine?
Galvis, ball one.
So if he gets it going, the whole Padre offense is going to get a jolt.
One for 4 tonight and 3 for his last 37.
Never a big fan of trying to wake up those big hitters that are in slumps by, oh, you got to go up and in on them and low and away. I'm like, I'm staying low and away until they figure out that that's the middle of the plate for them and their approach is good. I'm not knocking them down and changing their their chemistry in their head.
Once he knocks it down, has no play. 8-2 game as Hosmer's in to score.
That's one where Max will say, I should have had it. It's another one where Chris Woodward and he'll look at it and dissect the approach and why maybe the clank happened. Maybe third base tonight is kind of haunted. Justin Turner had a rough one down there and had an error, and now Max has got one.
And Ellis, who is 0 for 3 tonight, with 2 on and 2 out. Rick Honeycutt headed out there to talk with Ferguson.
Pretty much, I'm here to give you a blow. I'm here to tell you I don't want to get somebody up behind you. You're going to finish this game, so let's lock in and give me 3, 4, 5 quality pitches, and let's take this thing on in. You know, is Monty now talking about what they're going to start with? Maybe reviewing some signs with a man on second, too.
Facing Ellis, who, it's a rare thing tonight. He's 0 for 3. Ellis has reached in 28 of his last 30 games. During that span, he's third in on-base percentage in all of baseball, and it goes Mike Trout, Joey Votto, A.J. Ellis. He takes ball 1. It's obviously in a very limited role. He's still the backup catcher. Impressive nonetheless. A strike, 1-1. One and 2. Hill and Lauer tomorrow. 7:10 first pitch from here in San Diego. Dodgers will be trying to go to 7-2 in July. Looking to go to 34-15 since mid-May. And will begin the day a half game back of the Diamondbacks. Got him swinging. And got game 1 8-2 behind Clayton Kershaw's 6 shutout innings.
Last 2 starts for Clayton, 2 W's. And the rotation is getting healthier, and he's looking better and better every time out.
And he is our player of the game tonight. Brought to you by Lexus.
Well, the strikeout was there tonight. The breaking ball, the curveball was the most efficient we've seen it since he's come back off the DL. The slider was there, the fastball command, and Clayton Kershaw, other than going a little deeper in the game, he is very happy about this out.